Hakadosh, Erev Tov, Masechet Nedarim Daf Amud Aleph 51A1, but we're going to start on the Nun Amubet towards the bottom, the two dots. There it says, Yoma de Mechayech be Rabbi. We're talking about that the day that Rabbi would laugh, Atya Puranuta le Alma. It would come bad things, calamities to the world. Amar lei, so Rabbi told Bar Kapara, Lo tevadchin v'yahivna lach 40 grive chite. Don't make me laugh, and I'll pay you 40 midot of chita, which means I'm going to pay you. Don't make me laugh, because you know what it was. But kapara, right? It was a kapara. Yeah, what does that mean? He used to make everyone laugh. Yeah, all the time. So what happened? So he went and Rabbi told his students, "Please don't make me laugh, and I'll pay you. I'll give you 40. How do you call midot of chita of wheat? Just don't make me laugh." Elmaleh. So Bar Kapara comes and he says, okay, perfect. But lech simor, right? Dechol griva de ba'ina, shakilna. Whichever midah that you're going to give me, he comes, he's accepting upon himself, but he says, at least show me, right? Which midah, so that way I could take it. So shakal di kula rabba. So Bar Kapara went and he took a big basket. V'chafye kufra. He put zefet. Zefet is like tar, right, onto it, in order that the chitim would not fall through the holes. Meaning, he took a basket. Now, a basket usually has little tiny holes. So what he did was he put tar on the inside. So therefore, nothing is going to seep through. Everything he's going to keep with everything. And then he put it upside down, which means he held it upside down, right? You know what it means upside down. Imagine taking a cup. Well, okay, it's probably why he does that. Well, he put it upside down. He went like this. Yeah, he put it upside down, right? The Azal, and then he went. The Amaleh, he told Rabbi, please give me the 40 midot, right, of the chitim that you owe me. Yeah, give it to me. Right? That means basically he says that he took such a big basket in order to get so many, but then at the end he put it, that's why he put the tar and everything, and all of a sudden he put it upside down, right? And he hardly gets anything. Do you know what the mashal is? Do you know what the mashal is? Drunkard, right, that he wanted to come and he was in the bar, right, and he was asking for drinks. Finally they went and they said, okay, fine, but we don't have any more cups, so how are we going to come and give you to drink? So he says, don't worry about it. He comes, he takes off his hat, yeah, and he comes and he says, here, put it here. So you should, put it here, put it, he's half drunk, put it here, no problem. They come, they put it, but now there's still some left over. There's leftover in the bottle. Here, there's leftover of a drink. So it filled to the top, and now there's leftover. He says, okay, but I'm sorry. So he says, well, what's the problem? He said, we poured, it's up to here, now it's full, there's nothing more. He looks, he says, no problem. Put it here. You understand? The exact same thing. Bar Kapara, he comes, he takes the basket, he puts tar, he puts everything to make sure that not one little tiny grain of wheat is going to come out. And then what does he do? He flips it upside down, and he comes and he takes it to Rabbi. And he tells Rabbi, can you put the 40 grains of chitim here? Now Rabbi's looking at this. What is a hamor? What are you doing? Yeah, that's exactly. So therefore, what happened? Right? He started laughing. Rabbi started laughing. Exactly. That was the entire purpose. The entire purpose was to cause him to laugh. So he went and he caused him to laugh. Elmaleh, right? So he comes and he tells Bar Kapara, didn't I tell you not to make me laugh? Elmaleh, he told him, right? I'm only taking the chitim that you're obligated to give me. So the basically the Maharsha comes and he explains, right? The Bar Kapara was mityaches to the tzchok, right? Lekamut acheret shel chitim. Ki'ilu that like another, right? Not the chitim that he has to get paid for, but other chitim. So therefore, basically, he was coming and saying that his kavanah was not to make him laugh, right? But only just to collect the chitim that he was obligated to give him, right? That basically he wasn't actually trying to make him laugh, but it could be that he was trying to actually make it stronger, right? To do that, because at the end of the day, since it was b'derech shegaram l'Rebbe litzchok, right? Rebbe was not chayav him to him anything, right? But he was saying, right? That's bidyuk what it was trying to do, right? That it can't get anywhere. Okay, but again, there's many different. Rabbi Bachya, he wants to explain another thing, that Bar Kapara was always used to try to make him happy, and his kavanah was the Shem Shamayim, because Rebbe was somebody like almost like a king, and therefore because of the simcha, they would be able to get actually much more. Imagine if Rebbe was always serious; it would be very. So therefore, he wanted him always to be jolly. You understand? That was the entire purpose. Okay, fine, 100% all the time, 100%. Amar le Bar Kapara librate de Rebbe. Bar Kapara comes and he tells the daughter of Rebbe, Lemachar shatina chamra berikuda davuch ukirkane deimech. Tomorrow we're going to start drinking wine when your father's dancing, right? And when your mother is singing. Yeah. So, or other people say the miziga is that she's pouring him the cup. Okay. So this is like very interesting. So Ben Elasa, Chatzne de Rebbe Abba. So Ben Elasa, he was the son-in-law of Rebbe, Vashir Gadol haya, and he was a very big, rich person. Azman el Beilula de Rebbe Shimon beRebbe. So what happened was he invited, right, Rebbe, right, invited Bar Kapara to the Chatuna of Rebbe Shimon, the son of Rebbe. Elmaleh Bar Kapara de Rebbe. So says Bar Kapara to Rebbe, my toeva. What does it mean when it says in the pasuk toeva? Which means it says in the pasuk that a man cannot go with another man because it's considered a toeva, an abomination. What does that mean, toeva? Anything that says Rebbe, that's the explanation of toeva, peracha Bar Kapara. Bar Kapara was trying to push it off. Elmaleh, so he comes and he says, Persheat, why don't you explain it? Elmaleh, he says, Teiti devitchi tirmin li natla. Right? Go bring your wife, right? And she's going to pour a cup of wine. Atat ramyale. She came and she poured it. Elmaleh, he says Bar Kapara to Rebbe, kum rekodli de amalach, right? Get up and start dancing. And then I'm going to tell you. So Rebbe started dancing. Right? You understood what just happened? Right? She went and she gave him the cup of wine, and then Rebbe was dancing. Yeah? This is what the Torah says. Toeva, to'e, ata, ba. Right? You are making this mistake. What does that mean? From the fact that he's leaving mishkeve isha, the fact that he's leaving the normal, which is being with a woman, and he's going by the male, right? So the word to'eva is an abomination. It's actually an acronym. What is an acronym? To'e ata ba, which means you are making a mistake with this relations. Okay? Lekasa acharina, right? For another one, Elmaleh, he comes and he says, my tevel. What does it mean, tevel? Right? What is the explanation of the word tevel? Because when a woman goes with an animal, it's considered tevel. So what's tevel now? So he says, Elmaleh kinyana kadma. So he tells him just like the first one. Elmaleh ivili domalach. Do like what I told you beforehand, which means, again, Rebbe is going to dance and his wife is going to pour him the cup of wine. Avad, he did it. Elmaleh, he tells him, tevelhu. Right? What does it mean, tevelhu? Tavlin yeshba. Which means, what hana'ah do you have from this biyah more than another one? Right? That's what he's saying. What hana'ah, what benefit do you have in this? It's like a tamiyah. It's like a question, right? That's what he's trying to say. It's like a question. It says, Tevelu, what? Tavlin yeshba, what? This has special spices, right? Mishanya hada bia min kulu biot. Is this bia with an animal different than all the other biot? So why are you going and leaving your species and going with an animal? Elmaleh, so Bar Kapara comes and he tells Rebbe, umay zima. What is zima? Right? Because zima is don't let your daughter commit adultery. Elmaleh, he says, Ivid, right? Kinyana kadma. Do like what I said at the beginning. Avad, he did it. Elmaleh, he says, what is zima? Zo mahi. This child, what is it? Because we don't know.
It's not adultery, it's prostitution.
Prostitution, yeah, adultery. That's adultery. What's the difference? Yeah, it's the same thing, right? What does that mean? It means that what zo, this one, what is she? What does that mean? We don't know who the. Yeah, it's like a zona. Yeah, it's like zona, but it's zo mahi. What does it mean zo mahi? We don't know who this child is. We don't know who it comes from. So lo yachil ben ilasa lemisbal, right? What happened? He wasn't able to stay there, right? Because he was looking, how is Bar Kapara treating his father-in-law? Kam v'nafa kuvin tetem mitaman. So they went and they left. Yeah, they went and they left. Yeah? Okay, fine.
Not nice way to explain.
100%. So what happened? My Ben Elasa, what was so great about Ben Elasa? Yeah? He says over here, right? What was the power of Ben Elasa? He says, I tell you, we learned in the Braita, Lo lechinam pizer Ben Elasa et maotav. He didn't come and he didn't spend so much money, ela la'arot b'hem tisporet shel Kohen Gadol, to show them the haircut of the Kohen Gadol. Tichtiv says in a pasuk, kasom yichsemu et rashehem, that they're going to come and they're going to cut their hair. Tana ke'en lulyanit, just like lulyanit. What is lulyanit? Amar Rav Yehuda tisparta yechidata. It's a tisporet that there's no beauty like that one. Hechidami, how was it? Amar Rava says, Rosho shel zeh b'tzad ikaro shel zeh, right? Which means the end of one hair is to the shoresh of the other hair, right? And that is the tisporet of the Kohen Gadol, which means that you have one hair, right here. The end of it was getting to the next shoresh, right? You have, this is the root, the shoresh, right? Exactly. Yeah, it's a grades. You understand what happened? It's like a grade. Yes, it's like a shvil batzad, that the end of this one gets to the beginning of this one, but there's nothing in between. What? Yes, but there's nothing in between. Okay. Right? Fine. What are we talking about now? We're talking about dlat armutza. What is dlat armutza? We never actually understood, right? We said, we talk about what is dlat armutza? Amar Shmuel says, Kra karkuzai. It's a dlat which is coming from a place called karkuza, right? It's a certain type of pumpkin coming from this place. Ravashi says, dlat atmuna beremetz. It's a dlat which they are cooking in efer cham. Okay, in remetz is like mamash, like hot, hot ashes. 8 ways. So the Ravina comes and asks from Rashi. Nechemia omed dlat aramiti, v'dlat mitzrit, right? Kilaim ima yavanit. Do you know that according to Shitat, so Ravina is asking to Ravashi, Rab Nechemia says that when you have dlat aramit, right, with dlat mitzrit, that means they're both dlat, they're both pumpkins, but each one is coming from a different place. One of them is aramit, one of them is mitzrit. It's kilaim ima yavanit. It's considered kilaim with yavanit. The kilaim in mutza, and kilaim with the mutza. So what are you telling me now that is this type of this, right? That's what we're saying, Mishnah and kilaim. So for the fact that you have dlat aramit, you have or mitzrit, and it's considered kilaim with the remutza. So remutza is a certain type. It's not just stam the way that you're cooking it. So tiyufta. It's a good question. You don't have an answer. Okay, next. Hanoder Masechet Nedarim. A person comes and he makes a neder, he's not going to eat Masechet Nedarim. It's only going to be something that you cooked a long time. Amar, but if he said, that's something that's going to go in the pot, asur b'chol, anything which goes in a pot is already prohibited. Says the Gemara, time we learned in right, Hanoder mina yored likdera, asur v'yored lipas. If a person comes and he says anything that's going into a kedera, it goes also in a lipas. A lipas is like a machvat. It's like a frying pan. Shekvar yarad lakdera kol mishyored lipas, because the first went into the kedera before it went to the lipas. Because first they used to actually cook it a little bit, and then they used to fry it. So the first thing, and even nowadays, the same thing. Many times they'll come, whether it's hot dogs or all these things because of salmonella and other things, many times they'll start cooking it, and after cooking it a little bit, then they'll come and they'll fry it, right? Or roast it, whatever you want to call it. Mina yored pas, but if they said something that goes to the frying pan, it's going to be mutar by yorele kdera. It's going to be permitted to something that goes into the kdera. Mina naase bekdera, right? That means the other way around is going to be permitted. Because if you only said the frying pan, so you're allowed to eat anything which comes from a pot. Mina naasa bekdera, if it's going to be a species which is done in the pot, mutar naasa bilpas, you're going to be permitted in that which is going to be done in the frying pan. Mina naasa bilpas, but if it's going to be in the species which is done in the frying pan, you're allowed to eat from that which is going to be done in the pot. Other lishonot. Hanoder mina yorel tanur. If you come and you say, I'm making a neder, he wants nothing to do with anything that goes into the oven. So enan asur of a pot. He's only going to be sur in pot. Why? Because the main thing with pot goes in the oven. But if he says kol ma'aseh tanur alai, any type of action of the tanur is going to be on him. Asur b'chol na'aseh b'tanur. It's going to be prohibited on anything which is going to be done in the tanur. Nun Aleph Amud Bet 51b. Mishnah. The new Mishnah says, Mina kavush. If somebody comes and he says he wants nothing pickled. Yeah? And asur ela mina kavush shel yerek. It's something going to be pickled, which is going to be yerek of vegetables. Right? Kavush any toim. But if he says any type of kavush, not mina kavush, any type of kavush, right? That's what he says. Kavush she'eni toim, right? Asur b'chol kavushim. So then it's everything. Not only just of vegetables, it's of everything without the hakavush, right? If he just says kavush, if he said hakavush, that which is kavush, usually vegetables are the kvushim and everything else, not as much. But here when he says kavush, it's on that. Mina shaluk, and asulu mina shaluk shel basar. When he says shaluk, it's usually meat. Why? Because the meat is what you usually eat, which you're usually eating of shaluk. Okay? Okay. There's a whole thing here about, how many times you're cooking it. Okay? Exactly. Yeah? Right? Shaluk she'ani toem asur b'chol shchukim. If you say the shaluk I'm not going to eat, not just ha shaluk, so it's anything which is going to be shaluk. Okay? Anything which is going to be cooked. Okay? Elmaleh says the Gemara. Elmaleh ravacha Ravashi says ravacha Rabbi. To Ravashi, amar dichvish. If a person comes and he's noder and he says dikvish, which is that which is kavush, what's halacha? Or dishlik, or ditzli, or dimliach, mai, what's halacha? Hechin mashma, what is, right, these lishonot? The fact that you're adding a dalid, is that like the hay, or it's not?
More.
One more time. You said, in our Mishnah, we said, hakavush, or hashaluk, right? When you say the, which is going to be pickled, or the pickled foods, or the cooked foods. So therefore, the pickled means vegetables. The shaluk means meat, but anything else is permitted. If you took away the hay, and you just said shaluk or kavush, so then it's everything included. Anything which is pickled, anything which is going to be shaluk. Very good. The Gemara is now asking, what happens when I add a dalid? When I add a dalid, does the dalid make it like a hay, or is it not like a hay? Says the Gemara, tibaye. We have to actually ask that. We don't have an answer. We're not sure. Okay, tibaye. Next, Mishnah. Mina tzali. If a person comes and he says, neder, he wants nothing which is the roasted. It's obviously roasted meat. That's what it is. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Tzali shani toem is anything which is tzali, anything which is roasted. Mina maleach, anything which is salted. So he says, it's salted fish. This fish is salted. Right? What do you think herring is? Salted fish. It's fish. Yeah? Maliach shani toem. If you say without the ha maliach, asur b'chol meluchim, anything which is salted. Dag dagim shani toem, asur bahem ben gedolim utanim. If a person comes and he says any type of dag dagim, so he's asur in any type of fish, big ones and small ones, whether it's maluach or tafel, whether it's going to be salted or not salted, whether it's going to be cooked or raw, umutar betarit trufa, but he's going to be permitted in a big fish which is cut up into small little tiny pieces, right? Because dag dagim means a full fish, not minced fish. Okay? What? I couldn't hear you.
Atarit. What is atarit?
Dag gadol.
Atarit is dag gadol.
Yes, dag gadol a taruf, which is going to be cut up in small pieces. Okay? So he comes down and he says, right, batzir, and koshken, it's going to be mutar and batzir or the muryas. The tzir muryas is like the sauce which comes out of the fish. Hanodeh min tzachana. Person comes and he makes a neder from tzachana. Tzachana is a tarovet, is a mixture of dagim ktanim, which is small fish which are salted. Right? The majority are shlemim, but some of them are also a little bit the thing. Asur betarit trufas, and it's prohibited in the ones which are going to be cut up in small pieces. Umutar betzir muryas, but it's going to be permitted in the sauce which is coming out of them. Hanodemi tarit trufa, but if you make a neder from tarit trufa, it's going to be mutar in the tzir muryas. You're still going to be permitted in the tzir muryas, because remember, this is like brine. It's like the sauce, so therefore there's no fish in it.
Are we allowed to buy a fish cut in small pieces?
We learned in the Braita, says, Dag shani toem asur bigdolim umutar b'ktanim. If a person comes and he says a fish that he's not going to eat, he's not allowed to eat big fish, but he's allowed to eat small fish. Daga shani toem. When he says daga, asur b'ktanim umutar b'gdolim. So here you see that it depends how you're actually saying the word, whether it's big or small. Dag daga shani toem, you're asur in everything. Okay, but dag means a big fish. Daga, small fish. So therefore, he's coming into making that differentiation. But if you said dag daga, it's both. Elmaleh, Rabbi says about Rabbi, how do you know the dag means big? It says in pasuk in Yonah, "Vayman Hashem dag gadol livlo at Yonah." When it says dag gadol, it means it's a big fish. So it says the Gemara 1 second. Ve'aktiva yipalel Yonah Hashem imei daga. It's written that Yonah prayed from the mouth of the daga. Now, from the stomach of the daga. Now, if you're going to tell me that daga is a small fish, how is he in the stomach? And he's praying from the stomach. Answers the Gemara, lakashia. Dilma palte dag gadol, bale dag katan. Maybe it was a big fish that swallowed him, and then he spit him out, and a small fish swallowed him. That's actually what happened. What actually happened was that when he was swallowed the first time around, it was a dag gadol. Since it was a dag gadol, he was okay. I'm good. But then it spit him out, and then he got into a small fish. Now he was all cramped. So now he was praying to Hashem, right? Ela, but rather, adaga asher bayor meta. Yeah. And so he comes and he says, right? Vadaga asher bayor meta. Ma? You want me to read it?
לא, לא מסכים למדרש הזה.
הצעת אביי שיונה נבלע תחילה על ידי דג גדול, רק אחר כך נבלע על ידי דג קטן, איננה דחייה בעלמא, אלא אכן כך מפורש במדרש, ילקוט שמעוני ורש"י ושאר המפרשים על הפסוק. זאת אומרת, אם אתה לוקח מגילת יונה, כן, ספר יונה, זה כתוב.
אבל אנחנו מדברים על הדג הקטן הזה.
כתוב שמה שתחילה היה דג גדול וברווח, ולא נתן ליבו להתפלל, כיוון שלא רצה להתחייב ללכת לנינווה, לקיים שליחותו, עד שהביאו הקדוש ברוך הוא לדג קטן יותר וצפוף, כדי שייתן ליבו להתפלל להצלתו.
זה חדש?
מה?
זה חדש?
מה הכוונה זה חדש? He says, so now we're going to be doche this pshat. Now, either because it was from one fish to another fish, or whatever it is, but the Gemara is going to say now, Ela v'adaga shebayo meta. What does that mean? That the ga which are in the sea, they died. There, ktanim metu, ktolim lo metu. He says what? When this is during the time of Mitzrayim. What happened during the time of Mitzrayim? Everything became red, blood. Correct? Baba Haki, you were in Mitzrayim, no?
Yeah, I was.
So in Mitzrayim, I know that's what I said. You went to Mitzrayim. So
No,
in
but,
Mitzrayim,
I went to really Mitzrayim.
I know that.
Okay.
So when you were in Mitzrayim, the sea became blood? No, you didn't go that far.
No,
Okay.
he's
So what
tzaddik,
happened
Qadim.
is that during the time of Mitzrayim, right, all the water became blood, correct? That was one of the 10 plagues, 10 makot. Yeah? Okay.
The Nile.
What does it say in the Nile? What does it say there? Vadaga shebayo meta. The fish in the sea, they died. Says the Gemara, are you going to tell me that the ga means the small fish? That means what? Only the small fish died, but the big fish did not die? I don't understand. If it's blood, everything dies. What's going on exactly? Ella, but rather, daga mashma gdolim mashwatan. The word daga can mean both, either big or small. But nedarim halach hechal lashon bnei adam. So therefore, nedarim we go up to lashon bnei adam. Okay, and therefore that's why it says that means daga could also be also big and also small. It can mean both. And we go after what usually people say. Hanodem min atzahana. So Amaleh Ravina Ravashi. Amar elele tzichin mai. What happens if the comes and he says that this is for me like a kunam, a tzichin? What's halakha? Tiba? It's a good question. I don't know. Okay, next. Okay, the Mishnah, last Mishnah on the page. Nun aleph amubet towards the bottom. Hanoder min achalav mutar bakum. If somebody comes and he makes a neder, he's not going to have any type of milk. He's allowed to have the kum. The kum is water which comes out of the chalav when they what's the word when they make it into cheese?
Petit lait. The petit lait. This is
So this is like the water which is coming out when they're fermenting it. No, fermenting. I don't know if it's fermenting.
No,
okay,
this is
there's a certain word for it.
Okay.
But so therefore, by the way, in the coffee mate, what happens is that according to the FDA, they went and they altered the properties of the milk so much that according to the FDA, it's not considered milk anymore. But according to us, it's still milk.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's milk. So the FDA, they went and they said, okay, they changed it so much like chemically, it's not milk. For us, it's milk. So it's not OUDE. And if you call up OU, they're going to tell you it's 100% milk. It's not dairy equipment. And that's why whenever I come and people call me, it says OUD, but I think it's probably dairy equipment. I say, call up the OU. Why? Because if you call up the OU, they will tell you, no, dairy equipment is equipment. No, coffee mate is an afka of that they put it that they put it as milk. They use it as milk, right? But it's a powder. Okay? So he comes and he says now like this. Rabbi Yosef says it's going to be asur. Minakum is going to be mutar b'chalav. If you said that you're making neder from the kum, you're allowed to drink the milk. If you come and you made a neder from givina, you're not allowed to eat any type of givina. It doesn't matter whether it's a salty givina or a non-salty cheese, it's all asur. If you make a neder from basar, mutar berotev. You're allowed to have the rot of the basar. Rotev is like the sauce, the uva kippah. Kippah is a small little tiny pieces of meat which they come up. And Rabbi Yoda says it's going to be asur. We'll continue from the Mishnah Bezrat Hashem tomorrow morning.